Good morning, Roleplayers. Sorry for the late edition. Also, hey, it's coming out on Wednesday today, and I forgot to tell everybody that the last episode. I'm moving to Wednesdays. I told everybody on my Discord channel, but I forgot to bring it up here. I'm moving to Wednesdays because Sundays are the only days I really get to spend time with my son. He's off of school, and I'm out of work normally. And I would like to just spend all that time with him instead of worrying about putting together the podcast and trying to get that ready for Monday. And so instead, I decided to move it to Wednesdays so that I could work on it on Tuesdays while my son is at school, and I don't have to fret none. I don't have to worry about trying to get this thing out the door ASAP as fast as I can. Let's see. Today we're talking to a cosplayer named Voidshift, a very, very cool person. Think you're going to really enjoy it. During the interview, during the conversation, there was a bit of a glitch in the audio. I tried my best to fix it where I could with the tools that I have. I think I did a pretty good job, but it does get robotic at one point, and I apologize for that. Anyways, enjoy. Anyways, so sorry. I don't mean to talk about my nerdy Discord shit. How you doing?
It's all good. I'm doing well. Just kind of going about my weekend, spending time with my family, and work.
Yeah.
Little side job. I have a regular 9 to 5 job as a technician, engineering technician, and the side job I work for my dad, I guess, and he pays me to help him put up signs on the side of the highway.
Hell yeah, that's pretty cool.
Really random, but like just taking wood and bricks and stuff out there, building up signs so he can sell them for his business.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I can always appreciate a family business.
Yeah, it's come a long way in terms of family business type stuff, but it keeps put some extra coin in my pocket, we'll say.
Well, so hey, guess what? I'm going to use that as a segue.
All right.
Well, having a regular 9 to 5 must be really good for your hobby, and one of the reasons I asked you to come on the show is because of your cosplaying ability, which is incredibly good.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. It's always nice to hear.
And like, how do you have time to put together costumes? How do you have time to do any of that?
Oh my god. We'll say now.
How do you have the money?
The money. Oh my god. I started off basically when I was single after got my first place on my own, and getting a job pretty much out of college. Engineering pays fairly well, so was able to get a nice place and just kind of decided to do it. Over the years, I've kind of looked at the cost and effect of the costumes, and have definitely reduced some of the spending, because it's, in a way, it's kind of a disposable hobby. Like sometimes, like you'll get costumes you want to keep around forever and upgrade and always wear, but I've found myself throwing out some over the years.
Really?
Yeah, it's really weird. It's like a bit of a storage issue, but almost like a creative issue as well. So like I'll wear it, I'll prepare it for a convention or something, and then I'll get back to it after the convention. After wearing it, it's like, okay, well, I didn't like this part. This could have been tighter. The painting was off here. Things are starting to peel, crack. You know what? I can do this better next time. If I like, you know what, I'll upgrade it. I'll do a whole new suit, a whole new version, and it will be better than this one. So it kind of like sits the wayside for a few years, and it's like, do I really need to keep this? I have sold a few. Glad that they've gone off to somebody else, but it's it's kind of like picking characters that you like that will stick with you, and sometimes they don't stick with you for very long.
Yeah. So, one of the things, first off, your Zero costume, ballin'. I love your Zero outfit. I think it is so cool.
Thank you. That's actually one of the ones like I wish I could upgrade, and still plan to do at some point, but I've hung on to for all these years. I've got a shelf in my basement with all the helmets that I've made over the years. So Zero, Boom, also from Borderlands, Master Chief. What else? I could just pop over. Um, it's a few, and like the helmets, I always keep like some sort of memento from even the ones that I throw away. So one year I did Commander Shepard from Mass Effect. Looking back now, it was like my third cosplay, and I put a ton of work into it. It looked good, but it's kind of like that um, artist critique look. You look back on your old work and you kind of cringe at it. It's like,
Oh no, I get that. No, I fucking get that a lot.
yeah. So that one there, I cut out the N7 badge and posted it up on my wall. So some little trophies, I guess, of the fallen cosplays.
Well, so the thing I wanted to really kind of get into, and I wanted to ask because I used to ask this question a lot to cosplayers, but I
Sure.
don't know if it still applies. Because it's been quite a while since I talked to a cosplayer. And that is, I've always found that the idea of wearing a costume or cosplaying is, in its way, its own version of role playing.
Yes,
And I think that type of role playing can be incredibly beneficial to people.
absolutely. It is. Wow. Yeah, you can. It is definitely a form of roleplay. It is a like well live action roleplay, impromptu roleplay, uh like going to a convention.
Yeah.
Um
And I'll say I like LARPing, okay? Everybody out there, I like
yeah.
it, all right? I don't do it often, and I realize I just really want to hit people with swords, but I like it. Leave me alone.
Oh yeah, it looks like a ton of fun. I personally don't have the time investment for it.
Neither do
uh,
I. I wish I did.
to learn or to join. But yeah, it always looks like a blast. Just like everybody running at each other with swords. Like that's like one step away from actual bloodshed.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's I can consider myself like an extrovert by necessity.
Yeah.
Like I fairly introverted. I kind of keep to myself.
But
Keep
your love for cosplay is bigger than your love for peace and quiet.
Yeah, it has definitely helped me kind of reach out of that bubble and kind of experience more things. Like most
Mm-hmm.
of my characters end up having helmets.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm literally able to hide behind the mask of the character instead of
Yes.
figuratively.
Listen. Okay, so I role play in MMOs, right?
Right.
Everyone can put that on their bingo cards. I talked about role playing in MMOs again, but all of my characters have masks. I love masks as like a storytelling device. I
Yes.
like masks as like a way to shape the character in a way, and I think masks are incredibly romantic. So all of my masks have or all my characters have masks on them. And if I cosplay, I'd have to cosplay with something with a mask.
Absolutely.
I'm
It's
incredibly nervous to go cosplaying.
the mask. Yes, going to conventions to cosplay. It's it's such an experience. There's a great TED talk that Adam Savage does when he does his No Face cosplay, and it was just a whole interactive thing.
Oh, I've
And
seen
like
that. Yeah.
it is absolutely like a love letter to cosplay. It's just it allows you to immerse yourself in that character to go there, and like even if you're not wearing a mask, like you can still step behind the persona of the character that you're doing, or
Hmm.
not wear a Spider-Man suit without the face mask, wear uh I don't know, like store-bought costumes. Like it doesn't matter, like you can go and do anything and just pretend or not to pretend to be this character. You could just stand there looking awesome. Like
Yeah.
there's so many ways to do it, whether or not like you're keenly aware that you're hiding behind like another persona.
Mm-hmm. I think cosplaying is incredibly cool.
It's tons of fun. I've made some great memories through it, some great friends, essentially met my wife through cosplay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, met some celebrities.
Whoa, what? Hold on.
Yeah. Uh, back in 2015. So I'm gonna have to preface this with I'm nearly 40. So I've been doing this for a while, and I want to say my level of cosplay is probably amateur to journey, whatever. So I started in
Really? That? I'm gonna have to I'm going to have to make sure I leave links for everyone can see, but they
eh,
look good.
thanks.
I'm looking at them literally right now.
Yeah, I mean, I love my cosplays. I love the work that I do with them. I love helping out my friends with them, my wife as well. Um, so I started back in 2009, and uh, actually, I want to say even further than that. My first actual cosplay convention was Anime North in Toronto, Canada, uh, 2003. I went as Reno from Final Fantasy VII, and cosplay like it was a thing back then, but it wasn't like a big thing. Like I remember somebody, uh, I took a picture of their cosplay, and their handler came up to me and gave me a business card. So it had like social media links and all that for the social media that was out in 2003. Probably had an actual phone number on it, and I thought it was the weirdest thing. Like, okay, like some sort of business or whatever. But when I decided to kind of push being, I want to say more pro, I went out and got those. I'm like, this isn't a bad idea at all. Like this way, I can give the cards to people and they can tag me in pictures. Um, so on the road to being to kind of pushing my art, pushing that cosplay aspect out, I guested. I did a armor workshop for my local library, and it kind of just slowly took off from there. So the organizer for that decided that he wanted to run like a full-on Comic Con for the town, and he was able to do that with support of the local library, and had invited me as a cosplay guest. I'm like, okay, sure, like people can come by, I'll be dressed up, and we can shoot the shit about cosplay, like whatever questions that they have. That's great. Um, I had somebody from out of town who came to see it. From a smaller town, they're like, "Yeah, I'm like a guest organizer, cosplay organizer for this convention. Uh, and it's 3 hours away, but like we want you to come and be a guest for it, like kind of like a headlining guest." Like okay, sure. um they they actually pay, well, they didn't pay the gig per se, but like they paid some mileage. They had a hotel room for us for the weekend, and I had a booth set up in another town, so like I was a cosplay guest. um at that convention, they had as their celebrity guests, they had Walter Jones and Marina Sirtis there. So the Black Power Ranger
Mm-hmm.
from the original Power Rangers, and
Mm-hmm.
um, Deanna Troi from TNG, Star Trek TNG. So that was crazy to start off with. Like, oh my god, like kind of sharing the same sort of like guest space with them and all that. It's like that's really cool. Um, but there was a couple other out of town cosplayers that were there as guests, and we all got to chatting. They're like, "Hey, we're going out Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
Walter like wants to go check out the town, and like we'll let you know where we end up, and you guys can meet us there." Like, okay, sure, whatever. Uh, we end up finding like a small hole in the wall bar that practically had nobody. Uh, my wife, a few friends, and the other cosplayers, and Walter Jones, just pretty much us in the bar, just having a couple drinks, partying it up. and yeah, just having a good old time. It was great.
I bet. Man, that sounds like it was a great time. And to think, you got to this point by deciding that you're going to put on a persona and go out and just do stuff.
Yeah. Like I started off like the very first one I not very first one, the one that actually took more hands-on work was Master Chief.
Mm-hmm.
And we
Oh,
were
I
looking
bet. God, that thing looks like,
Yeah.
man.
It's like I want to be this imposing 7-foot-ish human-ish suit of armor walking tank, and I want to walk around and impress people, and just people's reactions was just it was just nuts. It was so much fun.
You know what I like about what I like about cosplaying? It is there's this. So you can tell me if I'm just like coming out of left field or if this doesn't make sense to you at all. I don't think it even makes sense to me, but here I go.
Sure.
I think that role playing, so in role playing, there's a love for building a character.
Yes.
There's a love for starting a character at one point and seeing them develop along. And I can only assume it's the exact same way for cosplaying when it comes to your costumes.
It's I would say it's very similar. Like you build them literally from the ground up, or whether you like actually like handwork everything or purchase parts, like either doesn't matter. It's still cosplay, but like the love that you put into it, the blood, sweat, and tears you put into putting those pieces together to figuring out new techniques of how to work things. Like I had no idea how to work with resin and bondo, but hey, I learned. It just like, yeah, mix two things together and put it on your thing and then work on it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it turned you you wear that love for that character blatantly on your sleeves. Like, I like Master Chief. I think he's really cool. Look at me. I look like him.
I've been like literally, quite literally, people who have been listening to this podcast, like over the last couple of episodes, there's been a lot of talk about there's been a lot of talk about how your love for your character can come out in many different ways and how you can express your love for your character in more than just role playing them, if that makes sense.
Yes, absolutely. It totally makes sense to me.
Sorry,
Like,
I'm still jonesing that you got to meet the Black Power Ranger, all right?
yeah, he was great. Like, I feel like I met other celebrities, but it was definitely not like cosplay related. Had to pay for some of them, but yeah, it's just such a great memory. And like, I was nerding out so hard. Like, I kept it in check. It's like, hey, it's really cool, nice to meet you, that sort of thing. But a couple drinks in, he actually buys us a round of shots, and he goes, "Hey, everybody, it's morphin time." And I just lost it. I absolutely lost it. I died. I came back and I gushed how when I was a kid, when I would pretend to be Power Rangers, we in our little group, I always wanted to be the Black Power Ranger because he was just so cool.
Hmm.
And it's just like it's so weird gushing about that to the guy who played him, but yeah, I did that.
So, and that's it's just so wild because again, to to go back to something I was saying earlier, this all happened because you just decided to go and do it. You just decided to
Yeah.
make a costume and go and do it, and that is so terrifying for a good majority of role players. I want to say, and for everybody who's a wannabe cosplayer like me, like I want to be a cosplayer. uh, It's terrifying.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so scary to just jump into it, and like with my brother's help, like we just decided that we were going to be Spartans. Like, okay, we're not just like going to do like TF2 or something where we can just like get a hard hat and a t-shirt. Like, it's no, like full sets of armor, bondo resin. We're just okay, let's do this. Why not?
So, like, okay, walk me through this if you don't mind.
Sure.
If I wanted to start cosplaying right now, like right this very instant, asking for a friend. How do you think I should start?
Well, you have to have the character in mind for sure.
Okay.
100%.
All right.
Whatever that character is.
Claptrap.
If it's Claptrap.
No, I'm joking. I'll not be Claptrap.
Whether it's like something from comics, movie, TV, video games, or an OC. Uh, OC obviously would require a bit more work, designing them out, but yeah, it's kind of like breaking down what they are and applying those things to practical things, I guess. So I want to say certain ones like a Spider-Man suit. It's like, okay, well, like in the show, in the comics, it's a suit. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, well, where do I go and get a suit? Do I want to make a suit? Like, how far do I want to go with this? Also, what's your budget? um, so something like that, you would go if the as a starter, it would probably be just to look up online, like sites that do suits. I'm pretty sure they're pretty detailed in measurements for commissions, though they are pricey. Um, but yeah, you would be able to obtain something like that. But if that's not within the budget, you can always look at how people have done it themselves. So it's kind of like taking a step back from places that do commissions, more professional dealers sort of things, and seeing how you can do that yourself. Uh, so there are a lot of cosplays that it's just like it's found clothes. Like you go to Value Village, like you need a suit. We'll say Chainsaw Man that I
Mm-hmm.
did. Um,
Wicked, by the way.
Thank
Again,
you.
very cool.
Is so much fun. Just so bloody and just like absurd with the chainsaws. Uh, that I was able to find patterns online because there are plenty of very helpful cosplayers out there, famous big name cosplayers that may sell patterns, may sell books, tutorials. And this pattern happened to be free, so I was able to get the patterns to do the chainsaws out of foam, the
Mm-hmm.
head out of foam with the patterns that they provided, and the
Yeah.
rest was just clothes. Just like it's a white collar shirt, tie, and black pants, like
Yeah, I'm
kind
looking
of
at it. It's so simple.
yeah. So it can be really simple to really intricate.
God, all of your costumes are just so cool looking.
Yeah. So like over the years, it has definitely toned down with life and kind of realizing that I've been wanting I would want to focus more on the quality of my cosplay over the quantity because during the early years or mid years of my cosplay career, I guess you could call it,
Mm-hmm.
um, I had done two or three a year, and it was insane. It was just like putting things together, and like personally, I could see a drop in quality for some of them. So kind of decided that I wanted to take it a step further, and just kind of like refine techniques, and make something a lot nicer. Like take my time over the year, where my free time kind of dwindled, but dwindled for good reason. Like you start to get old, and life takes over and family and everything, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping when my daughter grows up that she'll be excited to go and dress up and let daddy make her really cool costumes.
Yeah, I can tell you for a fact, it's the same thing with almost any other form of role playing out there where like tabletops, oh, I'm so excited for my son to get into tabletops. I
Oh,
really I really hope he likes tabletops.
I'm so hoping so too that mine does. I have a niece and nephew that are getting up there, 8 and 6, and they're about the age to be able to start do that. I hope my brother is starting to do little adventures for him for D&D or whatever system that they choose, something simple. And I hope my daughter picks it up too, because I also BM and have played a lot of role playing games over the years.
Hmm. I mean, either like I'll be honest, if my son gets into cosplay, I'd be happy with that too. I'd be so excited for him to get to cosplay. And just because like it's something I get to share with him if he does, you know what I mean?
Y- Yeah, I totally get that. I'm excited to show her, like, she sees all the stuff mounted on the walls, and it's like, okay, well, no, you can't touch this one. This one's a little fragile.
Hmm.
I've had her hold other props before, like when she's just a potato, like holding Chainsaw Man or something like that. It's like, oh, you're gonna be so adorable. You're gonna be Daddy's little cosplay prop.
Aw.
I've
Have you tried doing the oh, now I have to ask. Have you tried doing the Hughes cosplay with the
oh,
pictures and everything?
I've thought of it, but no, I haven't.
That'd be sad. That would just make me sad
uh,
now.
yeah,
Because now
I'm a
I
little
know you.
sad. Like, no, I don't want to die. I want to see her grow up. Uh, tears. Yeah, no, I'm excited for that. When she was born, I ran out of time, but I had started working on a Grogu pram that was 3D printed, and I wanted to do a little photo shoot with it, uh, because our whole baby shower was Grogu Mandalorian themed. It's like, okay, well now I gotta get a Mandalorian costume, and kind of saw the scope of it and I was like, okay, well, maybe I can't, especially with the lack of time. I would want it to be like well done. Like I'd put the work into it and source a few of the parts correctly, or sorry, not correctly, but from people who do like Star Wars like undersuits and that are essentially approved by the 501st. So 501st is another thing that I do, the Star Wars costuming group.
Hmm.
Um,
Really, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, when I was talking about kind of bringing the cosplay workload down, I had decided that I wanted to do a shore trooper from Rogue One. A buddy of mine had started the project kind of on his own and got me excited to do it. It's like, yeah, like this to me this feels like the next step of my cosplay. Like did the costumes, did some guest spots. I was a cosplay coordinator for a larger convention in town,
Hmm.
uh, so it felt like the right thing to do. So I kind of do that as well. I do that as well. I troop in the in my short trooper with the 501st. Uh, we do conventions, and I'm hoping to do like more hospital visits sort of things. But there is an aspect of bringing uh, that Star Wars role play to the floor, to the charities you're kind of assisting. I'm often just, I mean, I'm a shore trooper, so just like pretending like people have droids or asking them if they've seen any rebels around. Please report
Right.
them to the local imperial office, sort of thing. But
Yeah.
it's really good. The tagline is "Bad guys doing good."
I have always wasn't there weren't weren't the 501st in the Mandalorian?
Yeah, there were members of the 501st down in the States. Not sure where they shot it exactly. I believe a
Hmm.
call out was done to members there. I don't know how they selected them, but uh, s- they had to be stormtroopers, and they had to be the era specific stormtroopers. So like your base stormtrooper is actually different from movie to movie, like
Hmm.
within the original trilogy. So I think they had to fit the era. So I think they might have been like Return of the Jedi era stormtroopers. But yeah, like a bunch of them volunteered for it, contributed their time to be like in those. Was it the season finale of season one of The Mandalorian? And yeah, they were involved with that, which would have been super cool to have been a part of, even
Hmm.
if like somehow figuring out how to get picked for that.
That is, I think that is incredibly cool. I know I keep saying that, and it's my bad. I know I say cool, 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 cool too much, but I really think that is genuinely awesome because that is that is what people can do by just not only getting out there and doing it like we've been talking about, but
Mhm.
just being creative and being themselves.
Yeah, being themselves and being the stormtroopers, like
And being
being
the stormtroopers, yeah.
the character that you are. I really wish I could get a Lord Vader costume going because the kids at the hospital would just lose it.
That sounds pretty cool. That would be pretty cool.
It would be so much fun.
You
Sorry,
know,
my
I
throat's a little dry.
you're okay. Um, I want to know. I actually haven't asked this yet. Have you are do you role play in anything else? Do you play tabletops at all? Do you any of
I
that?
I play plenty of tabletops. I don't role play in any MMOs.
Mm-hmm.
Not no, tabletops. Yes. So lots of tabletops, I guess, over the years. I'm currently bunker mastering, so doing the Bunkers and Badasses Borderlands TTRPG.
Ooh, good system. Love that system. Everyone here knows
It's
I love that system.
it's a lot of fun. Every time I hear it come on, it's like, yes, yes, yes. Obviously, being a Borderlands fan, it fits well with me, and picked it up while I was doing a 5e group as a player, and
Mm-hmm.
decided that my IRL group, we do basically like a monthly game, and we have been for about 4 or 5 years now,
Mm-hmm.
and just like a bunch of dads hanging out. I call it the beer league. Uh, just hanging out, catching up. It's good times. But we rotate DMs every now and again. So usually it was like a different adventure or different module.
Mm-hmm.
But I had wanted to take it a bit further and actually learn how to BM. Like I had DM'd a 5e Horde of the Dragon Queen campaign for 2 years, which went really well. I want to say pretty well for like my first full campaign. I had done like a one shot before and some other attempts way in the past, but took a few years to get myself back into it.
Mm-hmm.
But as of now, I run Bunkers and Badasses for that IRL group. And actually, this month and next month, running a few games for the Bunkers and Badass homebrew community.
Mm-hmm. And I know that you like to listen to actual plays and stuff like that. So I knew that you're a role player. I just for some odd reason just completely forgot that you and I met through the Roleplay Rejects Discord
The
server.
Rejects. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. I love the interviews that you did with them. They're such a cool group. Like I've told them before, it's like you guys just you feel like homies.
I
Like
know.
I
I know.
feel
I tell them so much.
I feel welcome at this table. Like even though like it'll probably never happen, like I will like it'd be great to meet all of them. It'd be great to play a game with them, but being realistic, I will never meet them. And it's just like I feel like I'm in the basement with them. I'm hanging out. I'm listening to Wesley go on about something hilarious.
Right. It does. It feels good. I keep telling them this is why they need to keep going. I'm gonna take out this sound clip and send it to them later.
Fantastic. Yeah,
Um.
they're
Go ahead.
great. I love the format, and it definitely gotten me interested in other TTRPGs as well as other podcasts. Like I found your podcast through them.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah, and it's great. I just love the conversations. It just like you're talking with a buddy. Like you're
I know.
really passionate about this thing,
I
and
am
I
way
want you
too
to
passionate
tell
about
me
this.
everything about it.
Yeah, I know I can be a little off the rails, but that really makes me.
No, no,
Aw, thank you.
I love that passion. I just it's so interesting to hear all these other aspects. Like I've known about like role play and MMOs. MMOs don't really do it for me, but it's very interesting to hear like those experience that you and your interviewees have had with it.
So, like, okay, so this is a cool example of just that, and I was just talking to someone earlier today about all the different things, like roleplay wise, that we should honestly have a conversation about and just like talk about.
Sure.
And one of the things that we were talking about how you can show love for your character in other ways than just role playing them. you can there are these people who made a sport, like a role-playing sport in World of Warcraft for the
Okay.
Draenei specifically, and they use the physical features of the Draenei to be like, okay, what kind of sport would they be playing? And that's how they built the sport. Well, Blizzard put it in officially in one of the expansions, and I just think that shit is the coolest thing ever.
That is, yeah, that's amazing. It's like, okay, like let's figure this out. What kind of sport it would be? Let's do it. And like to be picked up and have that sort of seal of approval, even though you don't need it. It's like we're having fun with this. You guys don't have to come in and put the stamp on it. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's amazing.
I know, right? But anyways, so you were saying earlier that there's other systems that you found. What other systems are you looking at playing right now?
So Monster of the Week is a big one.
Oh,
Uh,
there's some good ones out there. And also,
there's some
hey, this is my chance to let you know about $2 Creature Feature and
okay.
Nameless Monster. They're both Monster of the Week podcasts.
I will definitely look those up.
I've had
Uh,
I've had them up on my I've had them up on my podcast at this point.
that's awesome. I will definitely look at listen to them. Wow, yeah, there's so many good ones. I've also been going through the RPG Goblin, and they've just been going through like so many different other game systems that have been great. Um, Force and Destiny that Roleplay Rejects did.
Mm-hmm.
That it sounds fantastic. Like that's one of the first attempts I tried at GMing. Wasn't the Force and Destiny set from Fantasy Flight, but the previous set, I don't know, it's like the Saga Legacy or
I
something like
think
that.
I think so. It's the one that looks a lot like 3.5.
Yes, yeah, it
Yeah.
was like Star Wars 3.5. First attempt at GMing, and it was a lot of fun. So I would love to get my old group back together for that to have another romp through the Star Wars universe.
You know what's wild? That was my first attempt at GMing too.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real.
Uh,
That very same system. And I remember I was bad at it. Oh boy, was I bad at it. Oh man, was I
uh,
bad at it.
Oh,
Um,
it's so hard when you're learning it yourself and
listen.
reading the book and yeah.
The me now has is ever grateful to the me then who didn't know shit. So now I know everything now. Thank God.
Yeah. Oh, I can definitely so many oh oh man, so many cringe moments and it's like
Oh,
I am better than this.
I did the undefeatable boss in my first session, and and like one of my the guy who GM'd for me, the
Yeah.
same game for me, he took his I remember this. He took his hands and he threw them in the air and he goes, "All right, just let me know when this is done." And I was like, oh no, oh, how does this end?
Oh
Oh,
wait.
oh no.
Oh, I mean, I still have a bad habit of like revealing some of the twists that may not have happened in the session,
Hmm.
but I had what were we trying to do? I had them escaping from a bar on Tatooine and had them run through an alley. And I specifically pointed out like a droid in disrepair and they kind of ignored it and went off and we finished the session and I had kind of scolded them about missing it. Like, no, like you could have repaired this droid. He could have helped you on the ships. Like, why did you ignore my droid?
Oh no. I also so and this is again how bad of a GM I was my first game. I remember very adamantly getting into an argument over one of the fucking mechanics with another player and it was a stupid argument and now adult me would be like, "Ugh, yeah, I don't care. Just do it. Just
Yeah,
roll.
it's
If you roll high
absolutely
enough, yes.
fine.
If you roll low, no."
Yeah, I'm kind of I mean, if it seems ridiculous, like my days now, GMing, like if it seems ridiculous enough, then it's like, okay, like maybe we need to take a look at this. Like, just go through the math for me. Okay, that's fine. Go ahead. But things like people generating characters for the campaign, I'm like, yeah, you guys know the rules. if anything comes up, I'll let you know. Like, do your characters how you want. If you need any help, I trust you that, we're all in this to have fun. And if you start fucking around and trying to find exploits, we'll figure this out real quick. Um, I have a friend, well, a acquaintance these days. We don't play too much together. Um, but he was basically the king at finding these small exploits just in the text. Like they
Mm-hmm.
were rules as written, but like literally written the way it was. I can't remember one of the games we were doing for 4E, and it was something like one of his abilities gave him it was a paladin shout. I think it gave him like an automatic critical on the next hit. But that's how it was supposed to work. But it was how he read it was that it would basically make like a low level enemy's head explode. He would shout and like four enemies in the room would just poof like that. And like at the time we had no idea. So I was like, okay, this seems a little broken. Um, so yeah, they've tried to find some exploits before, and it's like, okay, you can't really do that. But to a point, like you got to roll with what the players are doing. Like if the ability specifically says something, and it's like, okay, well, no, like it doesn't give you like 8 critical hits on this guy. Like that's a bit much. Like I'll let you do something cool with it to what's raw about it, and we'll go from there. But like no, like 8 criticals is too much.
See, when I first started playing these games, because I do remember that this is one of my earliest games playing the Star Wars sagas. I
Mhm.
was just happy that the GM let me be a Trandoshan Jedi, and also I could set my hands on fire. And I didn't use my lightsaber; I punched people. And so, you know, ever since that character, I've been riding that high, and that's how I've been playing games. And ever since then, I have done nothing but play lizard characters if given the chance.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, we always have those comfy characters, those comfy classes. I'm guilty of tiefling warlocks.
Oh no, my
100% eldritch classes.
My Star Wars character turned me into a scaly. What the fuck? I always get the quite literally my favorite character in Elder Scrolls is an Argonian.
Yeah.
If they could if they let me play a Trandoshan in the Star Wars game, I'd fucking do that. And
The
and
MMO?
yeah, in the MMO,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry. I forget that people don't know the things I know in my head sometimes.
It's all good.
And in Final Fantasy, my favorite character is one of the lizard people. So,
Oh
lizards
yes.
all around.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
I don't know why I went on a rant about lizards. I'm sorry.
that's okay. I'm a sucker for rogues as well.
Uh-huh.
Uh, I've been
I
definitely
like rogues.
yeah, shying away from it these days, but if I do play one, it's a bit less of an edge lord than I had in the
I
past.
I don't know
Dark
why,
and
but
brooding.
I'm obsessed with the magical thief. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I am obsessed with that archetype, and I for my life I cannot understand why.
Arcane Trickster, 5e.
Yes.
I've attempted to do one character as that, but we ended up playing. I wanted to do something more utility, more varied in like the role play and like actual encounters. But we ended up doing just strictly. It was Tower of the Red Mage, and it's basically whatever, like 100 floors of just straight encounters and combat and nothing else. So
Oh.
we ended up dying when the GM took his leave for that period, but it's like I didn't get to fully explore that, and wish I could. There's so many opportunities for role play with those arcane abilities, the arcane trickster's abilities.
Quick question.
Sure.
Speaking of weird archetypes, are there Warforged in 5e?
There is.
Are there druids in 5e?
There are.
Would you let me play a Warforged druid?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Can I make the Transformers noise whenever?
I'll give you inspiration if you say roll out at least once a session.
All right. Well, listen. If you ever need someone to come into your game for a session, let me know and I'll bring it. Let me know it.
Will do. I'll keep you in mind.
That's another one of those weird ass archetypes. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It makes no sense, but I love it.
No, I'd probably like if you came to me with the idea like, okay, do you want to be like a wood warforged or you want to go with the standard iron or whatever?
It had to be iron.
Yeah, that's true. Oh,
That-
oh my God, I can't believe I just got it now. The druid and the shapeshifting. It didn't, oh my God, it didn't click. It didn't click. It's like, yeah, if you want to have nature powers and be a warforged, I don't see the problem with that. That's why I suggested the wood. You could be more with nature. Like, oh God, it's a shapeshifting. I totally forgot about
Transformers,
it.
baby, all the way
Yeah,
through. I
does
don't
not.
know. I
It does not change my answer to you joining the game that way. Absolutely not. I'm more intrigued
Hey,
now.
that is the only way. If anyone offers me to play a 5e game, that's what I'm gonna play. And well, if they allow it, because it is a sort of a silly premise. But I
I
mean, hell, the fun thing about being a GM is being able to work around that.
Oh, absolutely. Like I love when my players come to me with ridiculous ideas. We have one player in my Bunkers and Badasses game that he started off his backstory is that he started off as like a vending NPC that gained sentience. And is basically like going around kind of like uh, trying to resolve his issues from being treated poorly as like a vending NPC.
I love that so much. That is such a clever way of doing it.
Yeah, it's great. Like I encourage them all my players to come to me with wacky ideas. Like, yeah, you want to make um a small black-haired dwarf whose name is loosely based on Dave Grohl, and he's a bard. Okay, hell yeah, let's go.
Oh man, I I have up on my shelf here again. People can put it on their bingo cards. I have it up here. The Avatar game, um,
Yes, I've
the
heard you
Avatar
talk
Legends.
about it.
Yeah, oh god, someday I read the book. I do, and I'm just like running my head. Do you know that Wolverine meme where he's laying on the bed? He has his
Yeah,
hands on the picture
stroking the
frame.
picture.
Yeah, that's how I feel of that game. Like every night, I just lay down and put my hands on the front of it. Goes someday.
Well, if you need a player for that,
Oh
I could
yeah,
probably work in an airbender somewhere.
hell yeah. There we go. With our powers combined, we'll get to play the game someday.
That's right. We just got to get a few more players. We're on to something here.
Well, so we're coming up on the hour. That's I have to say it at the end of every one, and I
Yeah,
hate
no.
that we can't. Hours are hard, man. Let me tell you.
Oh, I can imagine trying to get everything that you want to ask, and then more questions pop up as you go.
Oh man, it's tough. But if I don't do it, I'll sit here and talk for like 3 hours, and not all of it's gonna be great.
Ah, it's fine. It's conversation. It's not all supposed to be great.
Well, do you have any? I wanna. Normally, I ask people if they have any advice role playing, but really, I want to know. Do you have any advice to anyone who's like to people who are interested in getting in cosplaying that you feel that they should know?
It's uh, I want to say it's kind of the same with getting into role play, getting into TTRPGs, just kind of to do it. these days there's so many resources online. YouTube is fantastic for work in progress, tutorials, how to do the things. There's full videos, full series on how to build like Iron Man through 3D printing. Like there are resources at your fingertips. Pick the thing that you love, pick the thing you want to be, and there's likely someone out there who has worked on it or similar, and you could get advice from that. A lot of them are really excited to talk about it as well. It's like, hey, I saw you use this technique. I saw you did this character. How did you look at this? How did like this is very interesting. I want to know how to wear a workable chainsaw on my head because there are people who've done that too. They've made like small thin chainsaw blades like for Chainsaw Man, and the chains actually move. Like that
Whoa!
just blows my mind. It's
What? That's
insane.
cool.
If I ever upgrade my Chainsaw Man, it's going to have working blades for sure.
Oh
Uh,
God, cosplaying so
it's
freaking
so
cool.
nuts. But yeah, uh, it might be hard. Uh, there's definitely a lot of good cosplays in there. It's taking it to heart. Like you do the best for you, and it might be tricky off the start, but if you love it, if you love the character, you'll make it through, and it'll show. It'll definitely show. I love everyone that comes up to me that has spoken to me when I was doing guest spots, and even when I wasn't, when I was in cosplay. Like their costumes, you just see the love in it, and it's just fantastic. It's so heartening to see people excited about what it is, about the character that they're wearing. They want to tell you the stories. They want to tell you how they made it, and just it's just fantastic. Just do it, and you'll be amazing. Trust me.
That was really good. I appreciate you so much for going on.
Thank you. I appreciate you so much for calling me. This has been fantastic, completely out of the blue, and I really appreciate it.
One last thing, where can everybody find you?
So I'm mostly active on Instagram, Voidshift_C. I also have a Facebook page, Voidshift Creations. Things have been a bit slow lately, but I try to post as much creative stuff there. Otherwise, I'm either lurking on the Discord here, the core role players, as well as Roleplay Rejects and the Borderlands homebrew Discord. Lurking about.
Thank you so much. That's awesome. All right,
Oh,
guys.
thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. And you know what? That's it. So thank you.
Oh, anytime.
And that's all we got today. I really appreciate you listening all the way through, all the way here, if you're still here. Cosplaying is a wonderful hobby, and I really advise people to get into it if it's something that they seem to be interested in. Until next Wednesday, everybody, thank you so much again for listening. Please leave a comment, rate. That'd be really nice. I'd appreciate it. Thank you.